I've kept our next guest waiting. I hope he's still there. Cory Doctorow is a terrific best-selling author, and his latest book is called The Lost Cause. It's a novel of truth and reconciliation in our polarized future. Please welcome. He's one of our favorite guests, and I've already insulted him by making him wait so long, but we had to get that on, and we've just been running late all day. Cory Doctorow, everybody. Hi, Cory.
Hi, I'm not insulted in the slightest. That is a very interesting subject.
David is a marvelous mind on the law, as you can tell, and it was just such a luxury to have him. But you're a marvelous.
I just have an airport run to make to get home here from North Carolina. So
I'm so sorry. Your book, The Lost Cause, takes place in the, what you would call it, near future, like 30 years in the future?
Yeah, something like that. That's right.
And tell us about that time and then what happens.
Sure. So, at this moment, I think one of the most terrifying things about the climate emergency is not just that we can foresee it, that it's coming at us, but that we don't seem to be doing anything with that foresight. It's like we're all trapped in the back of a bus that is barreling towards a cliff. And, we're shouting at the people up in first class, hey, there's a cliff coming. And they're like, there's no cliff. And if there is a cliff, maybe if we're going fast enough, we'll go over the cliff. And even if that doesn't happen, we'll figure out how to put wings on the bus by the time we get to the edge of the cliff. And, as the cliff is getting closer and closer, we're saying, like, grab the wheel, swerve. And they're like, swerve, the bus could roll and someone could break a leg. We can't do that. And so this is a book set after the swerve. This is a book set after a moment where we take the climate emergency in hand and treat it with the gravitas and the urgency it deserves. And so you have millions of young people all over the world devoting themselves to doing things like moving whole coastal cities, like inland and uphill. And you have big projects to solarize, weatherize, build incredible power generation and storage. My colleague Deb Chakra, the material scientist, in her new book, How Infrastructure Works, she writes about the fact that you could give everyone in the world the energy budget of an American with 0.4% of the sunshine that reaches the Earth's surface. So it's about getting our materials lined up right for an abundant future that's safe again. But there are some people for whom this is not good news, right? There are some people for whom this is all a disaster. There was no cliff. There was never going to be a cliff. We could have gone over the cliff. We could have put wings on the bus. And for those people who in this book are kind of two tribes, one are these anarcho-capitalist billionaire wreckers who are in a seagoing fleet traversing the Pacific Ocean of old aircraft carriers and luxury ships and cruise ships and super yachts, trying to convince people to use Bitcoin. And then there's their useful idiots, the turkeys who are here to vote for Christmas, white nationalist militias and MAGA hats. And for them, this is a disaster. And so this is about what happens when the people who are today fighting the status quo, trying to build a new world, one where we really try to build a climate-ready future, cease being the attackers, trying to change the status quo and become the defenders, trying to keep things from changing back, and about how deadly and dangerous that all is. It makes for quite a cracking yarn. Kim Stanley Robinson and Rebecca Solnit both loved it. Naomi Klein loves it.
Oh, you've gotten great reviews, terrific reviews.
The first-rate Yimby novel, which is very exciting.
Yeah, you've gotten terrific reviews. It's really remarkable. And, this world of science so well. I'll remind everybody, I think you're I want to say a visiting associate at MIT, and, your computer science background is pretty vast. So I think you bring all those X's and O's to this situation. So I'm sure that this is quite believable in terms of, I think, your books and your stories have such credibility, even as you give them a world. And so this as well. And let's face it, I mean, this is not only credible, this is our dilemma right now.
Sure. And, I think that we spend a lot of time sort of mired in the paralysis of not being able to even imagine a better future. I think that a lot of the project of the right since the Reagan era has been to make us stop imagining things. When you think about Margaret Thatcher and her aphorism, there is no alternative, what she's really trying to do is get us to stop trying to think of alternatives. I'm a science fiction writer. I can think of 6 alternatives before breakfast. And so once you start thinking about those alternatives, once you start realizing that maybe this isn't what we do, but there are things we can do, that we're not helpless, we're not hopeless, we don't have to sit and wait for the bus to go over the cliff, we can grab the wheel and swerve. then it changes the game. It changes the way we think about things. And we are at this inflection point. Anything that can't go on forever eventually stops. People are self-radicalizing about the climate because things are on fire, or things are flooding, or there are zoonotic plagues who are locking them indoors for 3 years at a time. And we are finally getting to the point where we're going to take some urgent action, where we're not going to fall back on the neoliberal idea that this is all about individual choice, that we should just recycle harder and vote with our wallets. And instead, we're going to start figuring out what size pitchfork Exxon executives wear.
There is, I think, in this younger generation that but even older people there's a realization. I mean, a lot of our audience is older demographic, and I think almost to a person understand the urgency of this situation. Aphorism is a ding word. I also wanted to mention the fact that, from what I understand, you're somewhat optimistic even as the circumstance of the world is dire. In your latest, The Lost Cause, there is some hope.
Yeah, look, I think optimism is useless. Optimism is just fatalism, right? The idea the world's going to get better no matter what we do. But hope is really powerful. Hope is the idea that, if we change our circumstances even just a little, we might ascend the gradient towards a better world. And from this new vantage point, figure out some way that we can do stuff that we can't see from where we are now, ways to make things even better and better still and better again. And so, hope, the belief that what we do matters, that we have agency, that's a really powerful feeling. And I'm foursquare for hope. We can hang optimism, but this is a very hopeful book.
I'm really excited about getting into it. Normally, I get into your stuff ahead of time, but today it's all just come the end of the year a little bit too
I wrote
quickly.
9 books during lockdown. I write when I'm in. So you're not the only one who's having a hard time keeping up. My last book was out in September. My next book is out in February. My agent just sold another one. I mean, there's a lot going on.
It's terrific. Yeah, it's true. You are prolific to the nth. Hey, listen, come back and see us. And The Lost Cause is getting such great reviews. I mean, really, you're getting tremendous reviews, and I can't wait to get into it. We encourage everybody to pick it up. And there'll be a link to it in our description of this episode, so you'll have a chance to pick it up that way as well.
This was my pleasure. The book's a national bestseller as of last week. And
wow, that's great. Really congratulations.
Talk to you guys about it.
Look at you. Really, really, really cool. So we look forward to your next visit in the new year. Happy New Year and all that stuff. And Cory, congratulations on The Lost Cause. All right. Thank you. Cory Doctorow, everybody.
Off to the airport.
I love it. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.